And we're back. This week's leftover viewer requests I still have to go through. Here we go. JDDishmon, Mighty number 9, nude said, or enough said, I assume. Honestly, I completely sidestepped the entire drama, so I'm not sure what happened. The game looks cool to me, so I'll get it when it's out. But wow, what a miserable position for the game and its creators. They can't possibly release a game with flaws or people will explode that this game still isn't perfect after all this time. Yet now they keep delaying the game for months for every tiny little minor problem they run into. So now people are pissed off that the director is such a perfectionist, needlessly keeping the game away from over-obsessing over features they don't care about. But then release the game without those features and other people will get angry because those features aren't in it. Talk about a no-win situation. What a spectacular lightning in a bottle moment of the crew hitting every single how to lose an internet crowd box. Ouch. But yeah, personally, I never really paid close attention to the game, so I'm mostly blissfully unaware of what's going on. So I'll just get it on my 3DS when it's released, I guess. Steffu, maybe something like the part of says to me, why Crash Bandicoot still not coming back with all the false-ass rumors? Yeah, the false-ass rumors, that's nasty. Can't do anything about it. Of course, problem with Crash Bandicoot is, like, outside of nostalgia and that dying fanbase, what's his unique thing? What does he bring to the table? The problem with Crash is that the reason of fame was that he's the first platformer who brought a straightforward obstacle course platforming into a 3D game, where Mario and Spyro and such were mostly about walking around big arenas, searching for stuff, while Crash kept the speed, the pace, the action going on like a 2D gamer, a 2D platformer would. That's great, but now all platformers like Mario can also handle that, so Crash kind of lost his relevance. So the thing is, when you design a new Crash game, it's like, what angle do you take? You can't make a straightforward Crash because that would feel generic and dull, just going through an obstacle course, that the novelty is gone. But try to give him a new angle to make him relevant again, and it won't feel like a Crash Bandicoot game anymore, so fans will get upset probably. That's problematic. Crash doesn't have a very strong personality, then again, neither does Mario, and he survives on just the raw quality of the gameplay alone, so I suppose it is possible for Crash to just do it if he had super designers working for him, though then again, Mario has tons of momentum from a rich history, many spin-offs and relevancy, which Crash doesn't have, so, Much as I love to see Crash return, especially with the sense of humor of Crash and Twinsanity, I fear that if he returns, it'd be awkward like Conker's return, that he's just used as a helpless, meaningless mascot-y thrown into whatever.
Greetings, friends!
Hey, what are you doing?
Let me start off by saying that I can understand and relate to all of the hate that the Crash Bandicoot reboot gets. The redesigns range from odd changes to completely unrecognizable. The characters' personalities are messed up so much that they can't even be considered a parody of themselves, and the games themselves feel absolutely nothing like a Crash Bandicoot game. And yet I can't help but love them. The gameplay is decent, but mostly I love the humor the games have. I feel as if someone was intentionally intending to sabotage the series, and failed horribly. Just take a look at Tiny Tiger, who is easily the most hated change to the series. He acts and looks absolutely nothing like Tiny Tiger, to the point that you can just claim it is a different character. Tiny Tiger is a prehistoric kind of guy, with limited vocabulary and even more limited wardrobe. He is dim-witted and easy to anger. He also pretty much looks nothing like a tiger, with not a single stripe in sight. This updated Tiny, on the other hand, speaks perfect English, and is dressed like he's from the Green Berets. He seems quite intelligent and is very calm. He also looks like an actual tiger. As you can tell, this Tiny is pretty much the exact opposite of the traditional Tiny in every way, and if they didn't say it was him, they could have easily claimed it was just an entirely different character. But I completely love that character. It's very obvious that they intended for his change to be dramatic, as when he first appears he growls menacingly, which terrifies Crash, only for Tiny to suddenly start talking like Mike Tyson. Tiny starts to threaten Crash, but not before apologizing for it, and then claiming how he wished there was another way for them to resolve their differences, before making a quite funny fourth wall joke. It is an insult to everything that Tiny Tiger was, and it is goddamn hilarious.
Thanks, Captain Theory, for your thoughts on the reboot, I guess. I kind of liked the new looks of it. The gameplay was boring. It's not satisfying to fight the big monsters, as far as I'm concerned, though I have to say I only played the DS version. Well, whatever. XelchanTheBrave, a dissection of Knight's Journey of Dreams. Knight's Journey of Dreams. Hate to admit this as a Sega fan, but I played this game way before I played the original Knights, so couldn't judge it compared to its predecessor until later. Knight's Journey to Dreams is the main reason why I bought a Wii at that time, though. I was looking forward to seeing it. Fun to play, fun concepts. didn't like the 3D engine for some reason. It sounds like a weird detail, but something about how the world was rendered annoyed me. Which made playing as the kids usually not very fun. I don't mind the kids level when the levels are shorter and made more compact, though. The underwater cave was a good level, but the main open areas are very dull. But yeah, when the main game is up and you're flying around as knights, that's fantastic. It's clear they were concerned about that the original Saturn game was too confusing for players, so they made things more obvious, with Owl explaining things or using more obvious imagery like the keys in the door instead of collecting orbs. I wish they did more with the dream theme. The levels were more based on dreamlike distortions of the kids' memories. Well, it already kinda is, but very subtle. I don't know. But yeah, a dream as a game world is a fantastic concept, and they do some cute things like a city, a forest made out of a city made out of a forest. But yeah, the levels are too open and wide and bright for a dream, though. If I was a designer for a Knights game, I would tell the artists to be more inspired by stuff like this, Anton Pieck art from the Efteling, the space castles and towns and fairy forests, way more dark and intense colors, denser, richer. But yeah, that's more expensive to make, I suppose. Oh well. Having played the original Knights now, both on a real Saturn as the HD remake on the PlayStation and PC, I definitely prefer the original, because the more primitive graphics it does give it the stronger density and power I was looking for in the art style department, better color use, and the gameplay is more tighter and to the point. That said, I still love Journey into Dreams, though. It's still a fun game. No masterpiece, but I got no real problems with it. It's a little bit more bloated and bland than the original, but enough charm, and especially very good music left. Also weird, despite them over-explaining elements way more than the original game, the thing that was the most confusing about the original game, and is still confusing and unexplained in the new game, are the bosses. Well, okay, they do give hints after you died, but those were always my least favorite parts. You're thrown completely blind into a situation, have to figure out what to do to get the boss within a time limit, fail and start the entire stage over. Ouch. Funny thing is that the later bosses, to me, are way easier than the earlier ones. The more cinematic and dramatic the bosses are, the more obvious it is how you're supposed to fight them. And it's figuring out how to fight bosses that's usually the biggest challenge. I never quite understood the Dream Garden. As in, I never got any hills or valleys. My garden always remained flat, even after beating the game and getting several endings and stuff. I don't get it. Oh well. But yeah, for people who love the Chao Gardens in Sonic games, the Dream Garden from Knight's Journey into Dreams is pretty much the third main Chao Garden Sonic team ever made, politely ignoring whatever Chao Garden stuff was in the advanced game. Still, great game. Knight's gameplay is fantastic, concept is neat, music fantastic, some of the kid levels are okay. I like the water stage a lot, for example, Water Cave. As for the story, I'll just point to the stupid parody I made. That should tell you all about it. PumpedAaron says, maybe you can talk about physical fitness, the psychological effects of exercise, the media coverage on athletics, and how it affects the psyche of the world at large, things like that. Ah yes, Fat Roger sitting in his room animating all day. Perfect guy to talk about physical fitness. I prefer fitness as sport. Not into team sports because I'll be sitting on the side waiting for my turn anyway. Problem is my brain and my body aren't in sync, so while the body's moving, my brain is bored and just staring at the wall, thinking about all the millions of animations I should be doing, or family members need to visit, or chores around the house I need to do, and I get restless, so usually I put on music on my head. Background music for animation so I can prepare how the scenes will go in my head, or video game music so I can imagine making my own game levels or something, whatever. Something to keep the brain occupied so when I start paying attention again, half an hour has passed and some calories are hopefully burned. Exercising does give a mental boost though. When I'm done after workout I feel energized and good, just not while exercising, then I'm just restless and bored. As for media coverage, world psyche, I don't know. Yeah, I guess the world in general is out of shape, and the media doesn't do much making sports yourself super exciting. Then again, it's just pretty much just moving in a loop, so it's not super exciting. Or professional sports, but then it's just more like superhero worship, not quite inspiring to do yourself. I don't know. The thing I hate the most about the mentality about exercising, the phrase I hate the most is that dismissive tone. You're fat? Just go exercise. Just walk around. Just do this. Hey asshole, no one gets fit or fix their body shape by just exercising. Going out on a run around a block won't do shit. running around for an hour. Neither. You do it every day, every week, every month for tiny results. Dismissing exercise is a simple thing you just do, just hurts it. If you want to improve your shape, you have to do exercising serious. You have to take exercising serious, which also means that people who quote-unquote advise other people to exercise should also take that serious. Just exercising is easy, but having the willpower, discipline, time, and energy to do it every week for the rest of your life, there's nothing easy about that. So for all those saying, just hit the gym, well, just hit them. That's exercise too. That said, I do highly recommend to go out and take a run or a walk here and there for an hour. It's good for the mind to get out of here and there. But don't expect miracles. Don't do it with the mindset that it will get you into good shape. I take an hour-long walk almost every day, and I'm still a hopeless, shapeless blob of fat. But I haven't fully exercised in a while, though, so I should start that again. Let's see, how about the words good and bad and how people usually mean it in a subjective sense rather than objective sense?
Sad thing is, I think a lot of people do use it in an objective sense. The ability to not consider personal feelings as facts is rare.
Edward, how about Rareware Dissected? With recent Young Conker controversy and the fact that more fairly modern games still get some flack, it'll be perfect. Ah yes, Conker. Conker thing is the perfect culmination of the clash between the corporation attitude and fans. Corporations cold, calculating and wants money. Customers wants characters, products, brands they love. That feels personal, that feels real. Usually both coexist, but then we have Conker here, where fans are harshly reminded that Conker's previous stories and adventures are meaningless, and in the end he's just a mindless puppet to be molded and shoved in anywhere. It's fascinating. I especially love how it's kind of vaguely implied that Conker's Bad Fur Day doesn't exist, and instead we live in an alternative universe where that unreleased Conker game, Conker's 12 Tales, was the main game we all know him for. Family-friendly hero Conker from the successful, healthy, and rich history he has, and now he returns again. Whoa! Yeah, that's not Conker at all. He had one underdog cult classic, or even more underdog-ish remake, and that's about it. Oh yeah, that's not like a Game Boy Color game. But whatever, Rare desperately needs a random mascotte to show off their new abilities, and Banjo-Kazooie left a bitter taste in everyone's mouth since the last time, and perhaps Rareware is secretly keeping them apart for a reunion with Nintendo, who knows? So poor Conker is their desperate secondary mascot. In the end, it would have been better to create a whole new character, but yeah, oh well. So let Conker's awkward situation be a reminder that all our favorite characters in the series are ultimately held hostage by cold, emotionless corporations. Hooray. Kyle Campbell making a Mario character dissected. I don't want to talk about it, this just makes me sad. I love Daisy and Waluigi as concepts, but Nintendo's never going to do anything with them other than put a tennis racket in their hands and making them pose. I feel it's almost forbidden to even like them. Mario's game and the cast are chess pieces. Pretty looking, but that's it. Mario's game, press buttons, play game. Anything beyond that contaminates the perfection of game and rots your brain. I love Bowser and Mario and Luigi Saga though. Great combination between comedy, intensity, good comedic element to it, but still threatening villain. Heck, I can learn a thing or two there. Other than that, of course I have to bring up Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, except I never played it, so let's take people's word for it. However, even RPGs are no longer allowed to have interesting stuff happening because game. Stop caring about these characters, you're contaminating the perfection of the gameplay. Come on. Poor fragile gameplay will instantly collapse and mutate into some kind of Sonic 06 nightmare as soon as everything isn't Spartan and blandly sober. Mario and Sonic at the Olympics are the games that get to do the most, and that's sad. Godforoth-Warcraft Warhammer Dissected.
Right, this one's about Warhammer. I never really played the tabletop game or collected the figures, but I do know of its lore of the original fantasy Warhammer and 40,000, with Space Marines, Orcs and Skaven. And I once read an issue of White Dwarf magazine. I like the designs on some units, and it has a very expansive universe like the Empire, the Forces of Chaos, and the Necrons. So they have something that could satisfy both fantasy and sci-fi fans alike. I suppose the best way to introduce yourself to the fantasy version of Warhammer is to watch Ravendill's Quest on YouTube. Does have some adult language though. I also like how brutal it can get, as you could have a massive chosen warrior of chaos chopping a bright wizard's head off, or a space marine cleaving an orc in two with his chainsaw sword.
I got nothing with Warhammer. Warcraft, on the other hand, as a kid I loved Warcraft 2. Computer couldn't handle the third one. I had never had any interest in online mega RPG, so I didn't stay in that franchise for long though. So yeah, only familiar with Warcraft 2 and 1 to some extent, when they were still building and war simulators. Anyway, I got 2 stupid personal anecdotes about Warcraft 2 I could share. First, this character portrait of the orc peasant. You know that trick illustration where a lady can be young or old at the same time, or you see a face or 2 faces? I had a situation like that for some reason with this guy, even though obviously this is the way you're supposed to see his face, but for the longest time as a kid I was looking at his face like it was supposed to be this. Really weird. Second dumb story. First time I ever played Warcraft 2, or any RTS for that matter, I played a demo version in the first mission, and there you have to kill all enemy soldiers, and to do that you have to build a new building first, the barracks, and with that building you can train your own soldiers to fight. But I didn't know that, and I was too dumb or impatient to read instructions, so I was just kind of blindly screwing around with no idea how to make soldiers. Instead I started to make endless peasants, the weak guys who can't fight at all and are only suitable for digging gold or chopping trees. They can technically also attack, but are completely useless, super weak, and they start running away like cowards as soon as they are hit once. Nevertheless, I kept making more and more peasants, and sending them all towards all the enemy soldiers until I finally won. And that's how I won a war, by sending hundreds of weak peasants after only 2 soldiers. My very first victory. I'm so proud. Jakearmitage01 Super Hot. Is it the most innovative shooter ever, or is there more to it? Wow, either the most innovative game, or there's more to it. Wow, you leave little option open for me other than to say that it's amazing. But I gotta say, I love the concept. In case you don't know, it's a shooter game, but turn-based, as in nothing moves unless you do. So instead of constantly shooting and fighting and fast reflexes, you can actually stand still and constantly carefully observe the situation you're in and plan your movements. It's a very cool concept. I haven't tried the game yet, so I don't have any hands-on experience. Sorry, but great idea. It's a game that can break the design rules of normal shooters and can go completely crazy, have hundreds of different dangers come at you at once, from above, from below, from everywhere, so that you're constantly looking around you, paranoid. Sounds like a great concept. So, yeah, I'll definitely try this out sometime. Are these graphics temporary with the red and white? Because I think I'll get a headache if I play too long with that. Kind of like Mad World. I like that game a lot, but the graphics also kind of gave me a headache. It's the contrasts are so harsh. Oh well. DoritosAreMLG 6. I think Vinesauce Joel is a good topic. You can talk to Achok about that. Vinesauce. I never heard of him before, so I checked him out. He's very creative with casting Destruction Rollercoaster Tycoon. That's fantastic. Love his sense of humor. Love that he edits his videos so that the jokes just keep coming. So it creates a great rhythm. So yeah, thanks for pointing me out to him. He's an interesting comedian or video editor or whatever you call it. So I asked my friend Achok why you singled him out, and apparently Vinesauce Joel recognized Achok's name in a chat room and knew him from IMP. That's scary to me. Usually when a random stranger knows about IMP out of nowhere, I kind of assume the worst, that it was featured on something awful. Look at those losers on the internet, lol, internet page or something. Because usually IMP is so beneath the radar and such. Don't know if that's the case with Joel though, but yeah, almost kind of paranoid with that kind of stuff. Greener2215, rate and criticize your guests. Yeah, talk behind people's backs when they can't defend themselves. Okay. My most used guests, Captain Theory, even appearing in today's episode, kind of the only character that's more an actual character than just him being himself. Nice pace to his voice, nice voice. He gets the tone of the series, so I like to use him a lot. He can be very clever, and he's usually against me, especially when it comes to Sonic Unleashed. I'm always looking for that in guests, that they actually oppose my train of thoughts. The only awkward thing is his name, Captain Theory, because he has an H on his shirt, so it should actually be Captain Hypothesis, except I'm not quite sure why I changed that. Roll better off the tongue, or I was scared at the too scientific sounding, probably. I don't want to be too scientific. The show's way too messy and amateur for that. But yeah, he's Captain Theory, but still has the H on the shirt. Stupid. Oh well, I guess it kind of fits with the tone of the series anyway. Like, we're all kind of supposed to be idiots, so works. Frobman, my rival, kinda. For a few years back, I went to Summer of Sonic, a Sonic convention in England, which this year gets suddenly returned and is coming back, and I'm actually going there again. We were always the two Sonic parody animators there, Sonic in Minutes versus Sonic in Brief. And we both would try and have one new finished so we could have a face-off during that convention. And he always won, mostly because for technical reasons my videos were never shown. I always kept being ditched. My poor ego. Anyway, Frobman is the only one who to return back to him being a guest on Dissected. Frobman is the only one who really disagrees with me on a lot, who's really willing to appear on the show, so that's the main reason why I occasionally ask him. His way of talking and thinking doesn't quite fit with the style of the show, so that causes some conflicts here and there. Maybe I should ask him someday to come and fight me against with making a Sonic in Minutes versus Sonic in Brief kind of video. That would be fun to kind of have us discuss how our thought process and parodies are going. Then Alexandra Fortin, my old partner in crime for Evil Doc. Heavy accent, strong personality, a little too strong of opinion sometimes, and right or wrong. Not quite a good fit with the show, but she's an occasional partner of mine. We talk a lot still, even though she doesn't really have the time to animate anymore. Rugal, ouch. He's often a guest on Frobman's vlog show, where there's way more off-the-top-of-your-head conversation. I don't think I quite managed to communicate the idea that this show is really heavy scripted and needs pace and energy to it. He still talked like he's doing it on a whim, even after I explained a few times, so that was a kind of rich success. Still, Rugal is a friend of mine in real life, so he can provide me with some great music, though. That's pretty awesome. Elise, always like it when guests disagree with me, so that's good. A little too emotional for the show, so she had to tone it down for the second video. But yeah, I love her voice. It's a very nice voice. So I'm asking her for voice acting a lot recently too, such as being Styx in the Sonic Boom cartoon and Tikal and Avenger. Very cooperative. Let's see, then, the great Davoo, poor guy, thinks joining up with me will increase his success on the internet. Sorry, buddy, I'm an ambition and career growth black hole. He has a nice voice, good thoughts. We were going to do way more videos about the internet critics, but for whatever reason, we really never got to it. I'm always busy with a million other projects, so, yeah. Has very interesting videos for himself, including Roller Coaster Tycoon. Might want to check that out. I guess I could put a link below. NickonAquaMagna. Oh my goodness, that name of yours. Sorry for getting your name wrong again. Although you will constantly get my name all the time wrong too, so I guess we're just having a one big mispronunciation party anyway together. Hooray! By coincidence, we became fan of each other's videos around the same time, so that called for a crossover celebration party thing, I guess. Although we were both already having our own audience and our own platforms, there isn't really much need to team up much. Nice guy, I like his thoughts. Not quite the snappy, sharp way of talking I like. He's getting way better, and I'm better recently though, so yeah, he's going places. Good guy. I still watch his videos. Steffu, he's an old mainstay voice actors of mine and was mostly there for a joke. Adrian, decent voice, nice guy. Don't really have much of an impression, I'm afraid. Sorry, dude. I think that was it. Was it? Luke, you have any thoughts?
I only remember a few guests. Loved chatting with Elise about the Sonic Storybook games, and maybe see the games in a different way that I didn't notice before. Still not interested in the games, though. Steph was a pretty good guest. She was in the Pontic and Graph Bingo episode, by the way. She's a good friend of mine and a fellow voice actor. Voice was a little off and sounded enthusiastic, but I'm sure it can be improved if you bring her back for the bingo results, Roger. Also, wasn't there some random homeless guy who just ran in and said what a great idea it was for Sonic to have a sword?
Alright, Scud. I brought him in since he had street cred, but that was stupid. This being animated, nobody knows who anyone is, so that was pointless.
Oh, sorry about that. Then again, I think I was in a coma at the time, so all I heard was random mumbling. Jacold was pretty good. He seemed to know his stuff about Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, I forgot about Dracold. Not sure if I liked his thoughts on Shadow. He was a bit too melodramatic. Fitting. But when we talk about normal stuff, I like him a lot in real life. We really think a lot alike. He's just way more depressed than me.
Also, I don't mind Captain Theory when he's not landing on me. Next time I'm bringing Kryptonite or whatever he's weak against.
I think Captain Obvious is his weakness. Anyway, video's long enough. I still have no new animations or main dissecteds close to completion. Sorry folks. I'm old and slow and having a challenging commission I'm working on. Well, until next week again. Bye bye.